Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So, surprisingly, we got some new data mined information yesterday about cards that could be joining the game in the February season, as well as some that, might just be in the foreseeable future. So, we don't have super concrete information on the cards, like when we get a patch, so we don't really know the stats or anything like that. But we do have an idea of the cards' names and the text on those cards. So we're going to take a quick look at those. Now it seems this is going to be tied in with the new Captain America movie featuring Sam Wilson and the Red Hulk and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into those characters, February might be a fun season for you. Also, shout out to EK August for the graphic. This is nice to be able to put some faces to the names if you're someone like me who didn't know all of the characters that were listed in this data mine. And of course, shout out to SnapFan for providing this information. First up, we have Sam Wilson. At the start of the game, add Cap's shield to a random location. Ongoing, you can move Cap's shield. So this is pretty interesting. Obviously, we've had some start of the game effects before, but we've never had a start of the game effect that puts something into play. And that can be a very, very powerful thing. The first thing that comes to mind to me is kind of like back in the Hearthstone days. It didn't put it into play on, turn 1 or turn 0 or whatever. But Patch is the pirate, right? You play a pirate, it pulls a thing out of your deck. You get a card played for free that can get you some value. So that traditionally has been a strong effect in card games. So what does Cap's shield do? Ongoing, this cannot be destroyed. Add plus X power to your captain when this moves to the captain's location. So I think what we're seeing here is this is worded in a way so that it can benefit both Captain Americas. It can benefit the classic one that we have that hasn't seen a whole lot of play and this new one. And because Sam Wilson and Captain America are both ongoings and Cap Shield is as well, this is pretty interesting and thematic. So you're moving the shield around the board, and then you're providing benefits to both your Captain Americas potentially when doing it. We've seen them toy with something like this with the upcoming Doom 2099, where it affects itself and its Doom bots, but it also gives you a reason to play the original Doom. So I know for all the Captain America fans out there, it'd be nice if there was finally a bit more of a reason to play such an iconic character, and it looks like Sam Wilson and Cap Shield could give you a good reason to do so, potentially. Then we have Batroc the Leaper. Whenever a card moves, this moves with it and gains plus X power once per turn. Kind of an interesting text, though. I think the issue is something like this is you don't really want your opponent to be able to choose when your card is moving, and usually a lot of the decks that are moving their cards around are getting a bit more benefit from it than you are, particularly the move focused decks, or maybe the Scream decks where they're moving your stuff around. So I'm curious to see what the stat line on this is, if it ends up being something that maybe you just play in a regular move deck, because you'll get benefit from it moving, kind of like a Craven that just goes with your move guys. But hard to say if there's going to be space for that. A lot of these move lists, I think, have gotten a lot tighter on space over time as new move cards have come out. Then we have Cobra. You can only play this where your opponent has one card. This feels like one of those downsides you slap on something that is overstated for the cost, because it is a very specific condition. You can't play it where there are no cards from the opponent or more than one. So I feel like they probably are going to want to position this in a way where it's a big overstated card for the cost, but you have this big downside to where it's unplayable a lot of the time. This kind of feels like something you'd slap on one of the 410s or something like that. Or maybe it's like a smaller version, like a 3/8 like Gladiator or something. That's what I would imagine a card with this kind of effect would be like. Then we have Diamondback. Opponent's cards at this location that lose power lose an additional -X power. So yeah, this seems good with affliction stuff. One that definitely comes to mind is like the upcoming Rocket and Groot card, Hazmat, really just anything that is applying that blanket affliction seems pretty good for Diamondback, even like Red Guardian. There have been a lot of Affliction cards added to the game over time, so this seems like it could be a way to get even more of that going, though we'll have to see how that goes because, well, Luke Cage is very, very popular right now, in part because of all the Affliction stuff around. Then we have Joaquin Torres. Ongoing, the on-reveal abilities of your X-Cost cards at this location trigger twice. So he's the one picking up the mantle of the Falcon, with Sam Wilson becoming the next Captain America. And my guess would be that X-Cost is going to be 1 cost, kind of like a mini Wong, but only for your 1 cost dudes. That would be kind of thematic because it would pair well with the regular Falcon, where you play this, you get some value out of the on-reveal effects, and then you bounce them, and then you do it again. I think that would be pretty thematic and tie in with the other Falcon card we already have. And there's Red Wing. On reveal, return 1 of your X cost cards to your hand and give it plus X power. This is another one where it's tied into the Falcon stuff, so I imagine that'll be a cheaper cost card, like a 1 cost or a 2 cost. Maybe not a 1 cost. It would be kind of crazy if it is a 1 cost, because we'll have so many ways of bouncing 1 cost, but it is only bouncing 1 of them, so maybe it's a 1 drop that bounces other 1 drops or something like that, or it could bounce a 2 drop like your Falcon. But it definitely seems to be in line with the bounce type of archetype. And then last but not least, we have Thaddeus Ross, the regular form before he turns into Red Hulk. Whenever your opponent ends their turn with unspent energy, draw a card with X or more power. Draw a card is very, very strong. Obviously, this is a conditional draw, so you're only going to be getting, I imagine it's going to be a big number, probably 10 or more, to be on theme with the Red Hulk stuff. And obviously your opponent is going to be the one determining if you're getting this effect or not you. So that does weaken it a bit, but if this is a relatively lower cost card, let's say 3 or below, I think this could be very, very strong. We very rarely get draw a card in Snap, and well, there's a reason for that in a 12 card deck game. Drawing is very, very powerful, upping your consistency, and I feel like we've kind of seen a bit of that with a recent release in Malekith, where he's not drawing you a card, but he is essentially doing that, but better. He's taking a card from your deck and putting it into play, so you're increasing the odds of actually drawing whatever cards are left in your deck that you might want to get. And I found that to be a big reason why that card is so powerful, is because you get that pseudo draw effect that is also putting stats into play. So if this is a cheaper cost card, even though it's only going to be drawing, probably your more late game threats, assuming that number is large, just being able to draw 1 card in general is very, very strong. And I would definitely expect this to be on a much smaller, understated body, kind of like Bruce Banner coming in December, where it's not that great on its own in terms of what it's adding to the board, but the effect is very powerful if it goes off. And that's it for most of the information. It was mostly about the card stuff, but we do have one final thing here: additional future features. We've also seen data that suggests another new feature could launch as soon as December, though it could also be as late as February. Super Premium. We've heard them talk about this, right? They want to reinvent the premium part of the premium pass, where instead of just getting 5 more levels on, the battle pass instantly for $5, I think they've noticed the sales on that have fallen off. So they're trying to juice it up with more value. We've seen some data mine stuff in terms of what they might be testing with that. And so this seems to line up with that. With the Super Premium Season Pass, you might receive multiple card backs and Series 5 cards. Whether this is last month's cards and card backs or extras remains to be seen. As soon as we get any additional information regarding this and other upcoming features like Character Mastery, we'll be here with information and analysis. Yeah, Mastery is going to be real interesting because they did say initially they wanted to, they might be able to get that out before the end of the year, but who knows if that's happening or not. I imagine we would have seen a little bit more information on it last patch, but who knows, anything's possible. I do want to talk a bit more about Character Mastery at another time because I have some predictions on it, but I'm going to hold off for another video on that. But it definitely would be neat if we saw the first iteration of that make its way to the game as soon as the next patch. Speaking of which, reminder, there are only 2 patches left in the year. So we have a full client patch coming on the 10th and a OTA coming on the 12th. And those are likely going to be the last patches we see for the 2024 year. So yeah, keep an eye out for that stuff in the next 2 weeks. And yeah, let me know what you think about the data mine stuff we got today in the comments below. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.